Hi, and my name is Sylvain Rochon from HomeStudioLogic.com. And today I want to talk about what do you need to start your home studio. Um, it's you don't need that much, and you don't need to buy your products new. You can easily go to a pawn shop, or you can go on eBay. You can go on the on the internet, and you can buy the products there to start with. Eventually, when you get more advanced, um, you can do upgrades. Or maybe not. Maybe what you'll have will be sufficient, and that's okay. So let me start by showing you what I have and what you need to get music recorded, and maybe even go a little bit further and post them on digital platforms. So let's flip the camera around and I'll show you how to get set up. All right, so now what you need, the first thing that you need is a reliable computer. In my case, I'm working with a Mac Pro. The chip, I think it's version 3 that I've got. I started with a Mac Air, which actually did the job, and I was using GarageBand, which is included with every Mac that you buy. Eventually, I upgraded to Logic Pro, which is what you see right there. Now, one important piece of equipment that you need is a audio interface. I use the UAD Twin X Apollo, but this is a more advanced unit. I started with one. Can I remember which one it was? Um, uh, I've got a memory blank. Um, I bought it actually on the internet, and I paid like 129 bucks, something like that, which did the job between you and I. I could record any instrument on it, and it worked pretty well. Now, if you are a guitar player, well, you can use your audio interface to record your guitar, and you can also use it to record your bass. Um, One thing that is also a very good purchase is buying yourself a MIDI controller. I'm using this one here, which is a more advanced keyboard, the Arturia keyboard, the 61 key. But I started with one that I actually bought again on the internet, and I paid like 149 or something like that. Which no, not even 149, and this is Canadian funds, by the way. Maybe around 90 bucks or something like that. That did the job. Yes, for sure. The sensitivity of the keys were not the best, but they did the job. The first song that I've got on Spotify was actually recorded with GarageBand and that media interface that I had before, and this my MacBook Air, which did the job. If you're a PC user, then again, you can use a PC. The only thing, your DAW will need to be something else than GarageBand or Logic Pro because they only work on a Mac. Sorry. For me, buying myself a MacBook Air was a better option because it came with GarageBand. I didn't need to buy a DAW for me to record some music. So, and then you can use whatever microphone you have to record vocals. For example, I've got a Shure SM58, which is a microphone that I was using on stage to sing. And that was my first microphone that I used to record my music. Now I upgraded for sure Not because I had to. Don't get me wrong. Not because I had to upgrade, but I did because I wanted to. I upgraded to a condenser mic, which is this one here. And I upgraded. I've got this one here that I'm using, which is a dynamic mic that right now I'm using mostly to record my YouTube videos. But then again, I can use it to record my voice, but it's technically not set up for that. The reason why I'm putting a plastic on it because it's got that styrofoam cover, and dust and air from pets can easily go on that cover. I also have another microphone that I'm using, which is a clip-on microphone, which is the Apex right here. Why? Because my wife plays the saxophone. Her saxophone is over here, and that's the microphone I'm using for her when I record her tracks. But technically, I'm showing you this, but it's not needed to start your studio. And yes, I am in a treated studio that I just finished 2 weeks ago. Before that, I was actually set up in my dining room. My video is actually available on YouTube for the build of this studio. So I was actually set up in my dining room, and I did record some excellent music. If you go on my Spotify, my song is called Sing a Song. Just search my name, Sylvain Rochon. It's a French name, Sylvain, and the last name is Rochon. You'll realize that it sounds amazing, and it was recorded in my dining room. So having a studio like this is not a must. Sorry for stopping the video. I just wanted you to hear Sing a Song, just a few bars, for you to get the picture of how you can create great sounding music in your home studio, even if you're set up in a dining room. So let me press play and make you hear how it sounds. All right, so that's actually my voice has been sung with the microphone, the condenser mic that I showed you before, and the guitars have been connected directly into my audio interface. And I was talking about the clip microphone that I'm using from my wife's saxophone. So this is a preview of how it sounds when she records her sax solo. So there you are. So back to the video. Is it easier to have a space where the acoustic is very good? Yes, for sure. But when you get experience and you start mixing music, you start to get better at mixing vocals, even if you have a background room. I wouldn't say noise, but reverb. You have workarounds where you can control that room very easily. But what I was doing is I was using that room reverb as a room reverb. So I was using it to my advantage to make my vocal pop. That's doable. So I just wanted to share with you that technically you don't need a lot to start a home studio. Oh, for sure. I've got speakers. Yes, they are Yamaha speakers. They are expensive, but the kit that I started with were then again, I can't remember the brand and the name, but I had paid like 299 Canadian for the pair, compared to these ones, which are 800 per unit. But I did some great music. Technically, if you don't want to buy monitors, you don't need to. I mostly, when I was set up in my dining room, was mixing using my headphones only. I started mixing using my speakers here. Why? Because in my dining room, the sound was bumping all over the place. I couldn't rely on the sound coming out of the speakers, but headphone really, really works. So what I'm using is the Studio Audio Technica. I think the model is the 50X or something like that. They sound great. I love them. I also have a second pair. Well, actually, I have three pairs, but you don't need three pairs. You only need one. So I'm using also the Sony studio headphones to compare, because the two headphones don't sound the same. You want to have a pair of headphones that is pretty close to being flat frequency range. The frequency range the spectrum needs to be as flat as possible. The Audio Technica gives me a flatter response, so it's more accurate when I mix a song. Compared to the Sony's got a little boost in the lower end, and it's got a little boost in the higher end. So it's got a smiley shape kind of a frequency band. So if I do a mix and I'm just questioning myself, is the bass loud enough? Is the bass drum at its place? Sometimes I will switch to the Sony headphones to tell me if it sounds good. Does it make sense? Yes, I do. I think it does. And I also have a pair of Shure headphones that are right there in the packaging, because this is when I moved from upstairs, it's still on the floor. I didn't do anything about that, but that's not the purpose of this video. This video is to tell you what you need. First, you need a computer, PC or Mac, doesn't matter. You need a DAW. So if you buy a Mac, or if you have a Mac, you've got GarageBand that you can use. Then you need an audio interface, and it doesn't need to be an expensive audio interface, so that you can connect your instruments in and record your instruments. I suggest a MIDI controller so that you can record keyboard parts, piano, whatever. GarageBand comes with a library of sounds, and Logic Pro 2, and for sure you can buy some on the internet. You can the possibilities are endless. And I'm a drummer, So I also am connected with my Roland pad and pedals in MIDI with my Mac, and I'm using the drum kits inside Logic to record my drum tracks. Once it's recorded in MIDI, well, it's easy for me to say, you know what, I don't like that drum kit. I can change a drum kit and change whatever I want in Logic or in GarageBand for that purpose. And you can say, oh, okay, that snare, it's too low. I want it to sound a little bit higher. You can control the pitch. You can control cymbals are too loud. You want to turn them down. So you understand what I'm saying. So you can control your kit once it's recorded in MIDI in your computer. There's another way. You know that the Roland products have their own sound libraries. They have their own kits that you can record in audio. So I could take the left and right of my pad right there, and I can send the left and right into my audio interface, is right there, and record my drums in audio. The reason why I'm doing it in MIDI is that after I can do corrections on my track if I need to do some, and I can quantize my beat so it's right on the grid. So it gives me tools for me to always have a drum track that is on the grid. Very important. Then again, some people will say, I prefer recording in audio because I want to have that drummer feel. You can still do that in MIDI. You can still keep the drum track a little bit out of sync to give that more natural feel. You can do that. But then again, I'm going away from the actual purpose of this video, is to what do you need to have a home studio? So a computer, an audio interface, a DAW, and you need some instruments to record your music. Technically, that's what you need. Oh, a microphone if you want to sing. And you don't need to buy an expensive microphone if you don't have one. If I remember correctly, the SM58, the Shure SM58, which is a very, very popular microphone, is not that expensive to get in music stores. Or you can get it online for maybe a used one or something. So you don't need to buy anything new. So technically, if you already have a computer that is powerful enough to handle recording, because when you record a song, let's say you've got 30 tracks and they're all audio, it's like having 30 MP3s playing at the same time. So if your CPU is slow, your computer won't handle that. But if you have a very good computer, then the only thing you need to get is a DAW, which is the software to record music. If you got a Mac, well, you got it. You got GarageBand to start with. If you don't have a Mac and you don't have a computer, I bought a Mac and I love it. Or if you prefer having a PC because you're used to using Windows, it's not a problem. But make sure that you get a laptop or a PC that is fast enough to be able to handle multiple WAV files. It's WAV files in our case playing at the same time so that you can record your music without having any issues. All right, so that's it. If you like content like this, I recommend that you subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, and you can leave comments. If you have a experience and you did start your studio, and I would like leave me a comment. I would like to hear about how you got set up and how you started. This is how I got started. So GarageBand, MacBook Air, a pair of speaker that weren't that expensive. I already had my SM58 that I was using live. I already had my drums. I already had my guitars and my bass, and I got myself a MIDI keyboard so I can record my tracks on the internet at a cheap price. So technically, if you have a computer, you can easily start your home studio under $500, not US, but Canadian. So technically, if you're a musician and you practice a lot and you like music, you will really, really love to record yourself. And if you need help with mixing afterwards and need help how to record properly, hey, you can go on my website at homestudiologic.com. Just subscribe to my website, and you can actually send me an email directly, and I can help you get set up to have yourself a functioning home studio. Thank you for watching.